Good afternoon and welcome to the first edition of AZ Prisons and Beyond. Um, my name is John Levitt. I'm your host. My AKA in Arizona prison was Die Hard. And I just a little bit about myself. I'm starting this interview type of video program as a way to reach people to let them know about successful ex-felons. Even though in America there's no such thing as an ex-felon, once a felon, always a felon. They never let you forget. You become the lowest form of minority. You no longer have a race as far as the government is concerned. You're a felon and that's it. However, the third richest person in Arizona has a felony that he had to overcome. So it can be done. I mean, I've done myself pretty well. I did 20 plus years in the penitentiary here in Arizona. I know about the Arizona penitentiary. I don't know about a ton of other penitentiaries around the country other than what I've known from people who I know. I have a partner who did time in the feds. And, obviously we compare notes, so to speak. And then I got a bunch of guys I know that did time here in Arizona. My goal with this is I'm not coming at you as some hardcore convict. I've seen those videos, guys that are tattooed and buff and they look the part. They're probably pretty tough dudes. And, I've seen some guys doing interviews that did nothing but Camp Snoopy time. Wouldn't know what a real penitentiary is like if it slapped them in the mouth. But I'm going to approach this more of a professional level where I'm going to try to do interviews of successful felons to show what can be achieved with hard work and determination. I mean, when we're sitting in prison, man, all we're doing is plotting and scheming day in and day out. People running up debt, we're collecting, we got stores, we got gambling tables, we're slinging dope, whatever it may be. I want people to know they can get out and take that same determination to the streets. And because I got to tell you, man, prison is the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. Being out here is the hardest thing I've ever done. Two things about me, man. I ain't ever ran from nobody, and I ain't no rat. So there may be people that come along that might want to tear me down and talk shit, and that's fine and dandy, but I don't hate on nobody, man. Whether I like you or I don't, if you're out here and you're a successful ex-felon, I'm on your team, man. I want you to succeed. I don't want anybody to go back to the penitentiary. So this video is the first interview of me. And I'm going to try to bring forth more interviews. I hope to interview my boy Jonas, who did like from 15 to 35. Another partner of mine named Pete. He's big into AA and addiction counseling. He did 12 years. He's clean and sober. I didn't have those issues. I've never done any drugs. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I was an adrenaline junkie. And so I've learned to channel that out here in racing cars and dirt track and quads, you name it. But as I get older, I'm more focused on my children. I miss raising my first daughter. I'm trying to raise my second daughter plus my stepson. So, those are difficult times. And we have this coronavirus that's sweeping the nation and killing the economy. It's really going to be bad for America. And there's going to be no time to be an ex-felon getting out of prison. But you got to do it, man, and you got to succeed. I was lucky. I knew a prisoner I met, and his mom donates hardware. And when I got out, I started working for her for 11 hours a day with one day off every 2 weeks at $7 an hour. Then I worked for a company called Boeing. We made the Apache attack helicopter. And I was fortunate they had two investigators there, one a civilian, one a military, because that's where they do future defense weapons. And he's like, John, I'd rather have you in here working than committing crime on the street. And I had the whole run of that joint for whatever reason. And I made the best of it. And then from there, I went back into equipment. And from there, I went into mining. And when the mining collapsed in 2009, me and another buddy who actually went back to the joint for his addiction had a paint company. And we survived that way and hustled. But I'm not here to sell you some shit about life is all roses. Because if you ain't ready to put in the work, you're not going to succeed. You have to be determined to work. You have to bring that hate for people out here and turn it into desire to succeed. When they told me I made parole, I had so much hate towards the people that had kept me. I kept myself incarcerated, for starters. I put myself there. I understand that better than anyone. But these people create an undue burden upon you while you're there. Basically like you're at the zoo and they're poking and prodding you. Arizona has a very bad issue of mass incarceration. They love to warehouse people. They have no programming. This shit they sell the Senate and Congress about programming is bull crap. We both know that they don't have shit there. If you want to change, you better change you. So I developed 5 quotes. I only remember one of them, and it stuck with me for this whole time. And that is, my revenge will be my success. And I've never lost sight of that, man. I'm out here getting revenge every day. I'm successful. The plate on my Corvette said ex-felon. I don't have Ferraris and Lamborghinis because I ain't going to waste that much money. I got big houses though, man. You're seeing the back. This is my master bedroom. This thing's bigger than most people's apartment. And I'm not saying that to brag, because we all lived in tiny houses before tiny houses were even popular out here. I'm just saying that I've done pretty well. And, even the plate on my vet, you know me when I'm rolling around town because my plate says ex-felon. So, I've had GTRs, ZR1s, and lifted trucks and big houses and you name it, and I'm going strong. But the thing is that I earned that every step of the way. And I've had some speed bumps. I've been sued a couple of times. I've been arrested for some Mickey Mouse ass shit a couple of times. But I persevered. And that's what I'm coming at you for, man. Everybody, we need to band together and persevere. And I'm looking for accountability. I want to do some interviews of successful people. So if you're successful, by all means, email me. If you're a successful ex-felon, email me at azprisonsandbeyond@gmail.com. I'd like to put a link up. I'll try to. It's my first video. I don't know how to do this stuff. I'm going to work with you guys. Work with me. Help me. I'll help you. But if you want to be interviewed, you're a successful ex-felon, I want to hear from you, man. And to all the people out there continuing to support people in prison, they say 1 in 3 people know somebody in prison. So, that's terrible. So I want to hear from you too. If you're getting harassed here in Arizona or even in other states by cops that run visitation, which I know is a routine thing, get their name and badge number. Give it to me. I'll put them on blast. I still know deputy wardens. I know cops out here. And, approach determines response. I get along with them just fine when they act right and I act right. But then I take pleasure. There was an old Kickstarter that I'll let my boy Jonas talk about when I interview him. He got busted for some old kiddie porn, fucking with underage girls. And he's in the joint now, So these people who act better than everybody else, man, they usually got a lot of skeletons in their closets. So just laugh at them when you're at the gate and they're harassing you, But I'm here, man. I'm here to put them on blast. I've called 2 sitting directors at their house. Of course, the police came to my house afterwards. Criminal CIU for Arizona came to my house, and SSU wanted to know why I did that. And I told them why, because they work for me, all of them. If you're a taxpayer, they work for you. You don't have to be scared of them. They need to answer to you. But I'm not afraid to put people on blast. I got to tell you, I'm going to operate within the law. I'm not going to post their addresses. I'm not going to post their phone numbers. But I'm not above telling you that you can't call them. If you call them, you get to call them once. And if they ask you not to call, if you call again, that's harassment. Then they got you. But you get one call. And you can use it however you see fit. I just recommend you don't threaten anybody and intimidate anybody. You just speak as professionally as possible about what's going on. And I'm not above telling people how to go about that. But I myself am not going to break the law and jeopardize what I got going on over some nonsense. So, but I do believe in accountability, and I do believe that we have a problem in Arizona. I'm thankful to people like Jay-Z who have started to, these are rich people that sued Mississippi Department of Corrections for warehousing prisoners and having them live in unhealthy conditions. And, Arizona's going to need that shortly too, because they're, they got people, dormitories on lockdown, and they got people in, high medium constantly in their cells, which is supposed to be reserved for Supermax or SHU. And, that's just a little history about me, is that I don't hate on anybody. I've seen a few videos, prison guys, dudes are buff, tattooed, they do their videos, talk about SHU and prison stories. And I've seen some dudes who done Camp Snoopy time and they're interviewing people. That's cool, man. I don't hate on them. But you want to talk about SHU? I did 9 flat years in Supermax. All I seen was the blue sky for 9 straight years. I was also on death row a couple of times out of them years, because that's the only place they could keep me to stop me from harming the cops who fucked with me. So I'm just telling you that I took that hate and that desire to fuck shit up and I brought it to the streets. And that's all I do is rise and grind. I'm 51 years old this year, and most people still can't outwork me, even though I'm getting fat and out of shape. So, you know, I don't want to tell a lot of prison stories right now because my days are old, man. My stories line the bottom of bird cages. I'm under no delusions that I'm nowhere near the person I was at one time. I am a prime example that change can occur. Sure, if you push me, I'm going to try to hurt you. There's no doubt about it. But if you don't bother me, I'm not going to bother you. I go on about my daily life, and I'm not trying to make anybody else's daily life harder than it already is. So what I'm telling you, man, if you get out of the joint, you need to take on a very professional mindset, all business. You can't take this shit out here personal. You have to come out here ready to grind. You know, I used to say I'd work 3 jobs when I got out, not to go back into that fucking place. And I said, I'll work at McDonald's. Oh, I'd never work at McDonald's or Burger King, whatever. Well, you won't be successful then. I mean, the prime example of that is I knew a dude named Scott. He was a cold stone heroin junkie, heroin junkie. I ran into him out here. He was the store manager of one of the largest McDonald's franchise in Arizona, making 65, 70 grand a year working at fucking McDonald's. You can feed a family on that, and he didn't have one. He was single with no responsibilities. That's not bad money, man. So before you judge these people out here working at McDonald's, or before you say you won't work there, you might want to consider taking whatever job's available to get you on your feet. You have to develop structure out here. First and foremost, you have to develop structure, because freedom is a trick. Pain has no memory. Pain has no memory, or a woman will only give birth once. Understand that. What that means is just like when you're in the joint and they take your privileges away. When you lose them, it's like you never had them. When you get them back, it's like you never lost them. Freedom does the same thing to you. When you're locked up, the world stops. That's why everybody wants to reach out to old girlfriends they knew or everything in the past, because you're not making any future memories. You're making prison memories, but you're not making a future for yourself. So everybody goes backwards. They remember everything they came from. And when you get out, you forget that. I don't ever forget where I come from. That's my therapy. Starting this video channel, that's my therapy, man. I'm here to pull everybody up. You got questions, I'll try to answer them. You want to talk shit to me? Go ahead, man. If that makes you feel better about yourself, I'm all for it. My only concern is if you're successful. So if you guys want to watch and see some interviews of some cool people, that's what I'm going to try to bring to you, man. Dudes who have overcame and not become statistics. I'm a 2-time loser. A couple people out here 2-3 times, and then they became successful. What I'm saying is, don't become a statistic, man. I'm not going to be a statistic anymore. I'm not going to let the government control how I live my life. I'm not going to go back to a prison system where I have to have people that got so many problems in their own lives taking it out on me. What you guys don't understand in there, man, is that these people out here, they don't live spectacular lives, man. They're cheating on their wives, or they're doing stupid shit. I mean, you just can't even imagine, the things that go on. These guys acting like they're better than everybody in there, and they're not. But then there's some dudes in there, man, that go in and do their 8 into the gate, and they don't bother none of you. And they don't have no business being bothered. And they act right out here, and they got good lives. And then there's some dudes in the joint that need to be there for the rest of their life because they ain't ever going to get right. And there's dudes out here that can't get right. I'm not telling you got to be a conformist, but you got to get right, man. You got to keep your mind right. You got to stay off the dope, and you got to work hard, man. And if you backslide, you got to pick yourself back up and get back on track. So what I'm saying is, I'm here for you guys. I got a ton of respect for people who've done time, who are doing time, and who are out and trying to make it. And I got an enormous amount of respect for those that show loyalty to us people that have failed time and time again and have let our loved ones down. Brothers, mothers, fathers, daughters, girlfriends, whatever, man. If you're looking out for a dude in the joint or a woman in the joint, props to you, man. I got a ton of respect. That's a hard road. and I don't envy anybody that runs down it, but I got to tell you, I still look after my co-defendant. I'm starting my 15th year free. He's starting his 30th straight year incarcerated, and I still put money on his books. I still take his phone calls. I still send him a package. Like I said, I never forget where I come from, man. Loyalty means something to me. I still take care of my cellie, one of my cellies that's never getting out of the joint. I send him $100 every Christmas. I might not write as much as I'd like, but my life is chaotic. I am busy. I have overhead that I have to achieve. I'm a small business owner. I'm constantly working. So the fact that I was able to take the morning off and make these videos, you just don't know what I went through to make this video. I bought this GoPro set up, and I'm trying to do it, and it keeps turning off. And then I finally went to my phone. I got my damn cat trying to come in the room, attack my other cat, So, I'm just trying to bring some stuff to you guys, man. I'm a family man now. I'm nowhere near the person I used to be. I'll post up some mug shots. I mean, I got a mug shot from when I was, 20 years old or something like that. And 21, and then when I was 26, I look like old pretty boy kid. It looks like he should still be in high school. And then I got a mug shot not 5 years later. I look like a stone cold killer in Supermax. So what I'm saying is, and I didn't mess up. You don't see you see some scars and stuff. I work, but you don't see no tattoos, man. I tried not to mess up my image. I understand tattoos are a result of boredom in there, and you're locked down, and it's cool. But some of the dudes I'm going to interview, they're all tapped down. But they're good people, man. And another thing, some of these people you might see, they may have a history of somewhat or another. And even though I myself have never ratted on anybody, there are some people I know out here that made the decisions I don't agree with. But that's the decisions they had to make to move past the life they were in and start a new life for themselves. I don't judge anybody. Because if that was the case, all you people that want to judge, you better look in the mirror every time the old lady you got called the cops on you, but you still love her. Your mom that called the cops on you. Your brother that called the cops on you, but you still love them. So what I'm saying is, it's real easy to hate on other people. It's real easy to judge other people. I don't do that, man. What I do is, if you're religious, great, man. If that works for you, I'm all for it. Don't push it on me. If you're fag and that works for you, great. Don't push it on me, man. It's none of my business what you do in your house. I mind my own business. In prison, we don't always mind our own business. Some of us are a bunch of old ladies gossiping and talking about people. But at the end of the day, out here, you mind your own business. You be a good neighbor. That's it, man. And so what I'm saying is, I'm going to start doing videos and interviewing some decent people out here, man, that have turned their life around. If you guys want to make comments and hate on them, great. But let's try to be positive. Positive communications, man. Let's be positive and respectful. I'm all about being positive. Even in the joint, I had a smile on my face because they could never stop me from doing what I wanted to do. So yeah, you could lock me in a cage, but you couldn't break me, because everything starts right here, man. It's your mindset. You get your mind right, you'll succeed. You don't, you on the installment life program, or you getting life. And I've went out here and talked to some of these juveniles a couple of times now too. I don't go in there and give them scared straight stories. I give them the truth, man. Prison's easy, and you're going to make it in there one way or the other. But life is hard, man. Real hard. So don't forget that time, the first time you made it to juvenile and you're crying tears, want God to rescue you. But your third time down, you're a tough guy. So let's all communicate. Talk to me. Let me answer your questions. I support groups like Prison Legal News. Those are a couple ex-felons, man, very successful. They put out a great newspaper. If you can get a subscription to it, I highly suggest it. They are very informative about what's going on in the legal system. And I know in Arizona, we lost our law libraries quite some time ago. And, we had, I don't know what they're doing now. They're nicer, gentler. I mean, I was in juvenile. If we refused to work, they chained us to a hitching post all day. Took our mattresses in lockdown. I think I did tougher juvenile time sometimes than I did adult time. But, the thing is that you got to persevere and don't let them break you. Don't be on a bunch of Skittles, sleeping all day and shit like that. So there's going to be some prison stories to come. I'm going to get some boys together. We're going to have a good time. But what I'm making this video for is to let everybody know, let's come together, man. Let's try to nip this recidivism rate in the ass. Let's get some successful people. Just for example, man, my neighbor used to be a fucking warden, and we got along great. He was a stand-up dude. He ended up going to Tennessee. My first house I bought when I got, my neighbor was a sergeant at SSU. We cool now, man. You know what I mean? He gets it. You know, he don't work there no more. But what you got to understand is, you know, you see that brand too, ex-felon, man. I'm constantly representing who I am. I don't run from my past. I embrace it. I become a better person because of it. That works for me. That doesn't work for some other people, but it works for me. So what I'm telling you is you need to just come together. You know, people got questions for me. Hit me up. Hit my Facebook page up, AZ Prisons and Beyond. You know, and I say beyond because I don't know a lot about other states' prisons or how they're operated, but I do know how to access everything for Arizona prisons. I know how to look at policy. I know how to research case law that affects Arizona prisons. I know how to do that. You guys got questions? Hit me up, man. Let's work together. And rest assured, I don't think I'm better than anybody else. I may come off with some arrogance or aggressive or cocky at times because I believe my opinions are good and I believe I have a blueprint to success. But trust me, man, and I ain't giving no handouts out. Them days are over. You got to come out here and work hard and get what you want. I'll send you in the right direction when I can. But just know that, listen to the people that love you, and let's do this together. I'm going to bring you guys some great interviews. I hope to interview the third richest dude in Arizona. It's a pipe dream right now, but I'm going to bring you straight up interviews from Jonas, Marty, Pete, Drake. I got my boy who, he was the last person indicted in the Fast and the Furious case. He didn't do shit but move some boxes. Busted his ass for 4 more years. Jimmy, stand-up dude, ain't ever ratted on a motherfucker. Stand up as they come. But I'm going to interview some other dudes that made some decisions that worked for them and their success. Like I said, let's not judge, man. If you guys want to tear me down, go ahead. I don't usually reveal who I am. I don't have the look. I'm clean cut, and I'm going to keep it that way. But there's an old saying, man, let laying dogs lie. And I'm one of them old dogs. And it don't take me but a couple of weeks to get into shape. So here's the thing. I don't want to be aggressive. And I probably won't respond to anybody talking shit. Just remember, man, if that's what makes you feel better, then go ahead and do it. But I'm here to give a message to the people who have loved ones in prison that all hope isn't lost. My family thought I'd be back in prison in 6 months. 15 years later, they probably still think I'm going back to prison. So, I mean, they wouldn't be surprised. So what I'm saying is, man, don't give up on people. If they burn their bridges, then kick them to the curb. But people who are truly out here trying to be successful, let's band together and help encourage each other. And with that, I'm out, man. You guys have a great day, and may success be yours.